don't crash. Welcome to the show. I do that for Tony.
I know, because you know I hate it.
My name is Brian Bacchus, one of the co-hosts.
I am Jamal Smith, one of the co-hosts, and we have
Tony Bailey Rains, the third Musketeer co-host.
Today's show is Tony's show, and we were going to be jumping off, but I think we're going to have to go ahead and delay that jump off while we go ahead and talk about upcoming events that are happening in Altadena. Now, I know, Jamal, you're still going through the upload process. So I would like to take this time to
show us your hair.
Thank everyone for tuning in to our 175th show. What was that?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Thought I was going to say something else. Well, because I was trying to raise this towel up behind me on the chair. That's why I leaned forward. But we are excited. We got 25 more shows till 200. Woo-hoo. So that means that's like another month from now. About 5 weeks, right?
Yeah.
It's coming quick.
Oh, yeah. It'll definitely come quickly, though. Come on, man. 175? Who thought? Who would have thunk it? I mean, again, Brian frozen again?
Oh, Lord. Yep.
Please don't tell me you're froze.
He's going to be mad when he comes back.
Good morning, Marcus. Thank you. We do what we do, what we can. But we always talk about how this originated. It's grown by leaps and bounds in terms of, just the people we're reaching out to, the subject matter we're talking about, and, the things that we're doing, in particular, the future things that we're doing and the events and what have you. So I think that's where Brian was going to go. And we're, I think, blown away every time we mention which episode it is. Because, hey, baby.
She keep going back and forth this morning.
Because, it's a lot. And but it's fun, though, too. It's not work. We do put in work behind the scenes. Tony and Brian do a lot more than I do in terms of physically going places and doing things like that. But it's still, it's a labor of love, for our community, like we always talk about. I guess Brian did shut down. Let's see if he's sending me a text or anything.
So it is a labor of love, and none of us could do it by ourselves. So he has dropped off. We don't know if it's internet issues or what, but he's off site. And so while he's on location, this is the second day that his system has, as soon as we come on, said, nope, I'm not coming on with y'all. So we will let him adjust and get ready or whatever. As you all know, Senator Sasha Renee Perez is supposed to be with me on the show today. You guys know I don't chase anybody. I invite you on the show. If you come, you come. If you say yes and actually schedule and accept the invite, he said, hey, biggest Wi-Fi. Now everybody knows where you're on location. But I got an email yesterday at 2:25 p.m. from her communications director, Jerome, saying, oh, hey, Tony, unfortunately, the senator has a conflict for your show tomorrow because the Eden Fire Collaborative has invited her to a press conference. Can we push the show back to 11:30? And my response was no. Our show is at 10 a.m. And I reconfirmed today, the 16th at 10 a.m. on August 26th. So our show will go on at 10 a.m. I said, evidently, she doesn't want to come on the show because all I keep getting is excuses. I've been working with them since June 25th. And a number of dates, they canceled, came back. We finally settled on this one today. And then not, last week or anything like that, because they were in session until last week. did they contact me. They contacted me less than 24 hours. And so I told them, no, I'm not changing the show. I'm not pushing it back. I'm not chasing after her. So they said she may be able to come in between 10:15 and 10:30. And they were going to try. That was at 7 p.m. last night. I guess he emailed me and I told him this morning received, and that's it. So we don't know if she's going to click on the link and jump in today or not, but we're going to go ahead with our show. I'm going to pull up some of the bills that the session just ended because we know that some of them did not pass for legislation to go to the governor's desk to be signed. But before, or while I'm pulling those up, Jamal is going to go on and we're going to kind of reverse things, and we're going to go with announcements very, very early. And then when we are all said and done with everything, we'll also talk about the events that we have coming up, because Jamal came up with me yesterday to Loma Alta Park to talk to the staff. And we did a full walkthrough of Lower Loma, where the barbecue event will be October 25th. And then on November 22nd, the community luncheon that we're throwing, the Day of Thanks. We did that and got all things ready. And then, Jamal, I got to tell you about this amazing call with a friend of mine who is a chef who right now is back in school. No, matter of fact, Derek James, because he was on the show yesterday. He called me. Derek. So Derek is not working in hospitality or chefery, as I will say, right now. Mm-hmm. And so he is literally going to help us with the event because I talked to him about it. Man. And so
he's
like
that
aligned everything how it's supposed to be aligned. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, if we got to pay you a little consultant fee, we will. He was like, Toni, I got you, whatever you need. So like everything is lining up. So we will talk about all of that towards the end of the show. But we're going to start with the announcements. If the senator pops in, cool. If not, we will do what we do for the next hour and engage with you as the community. I am going to pull up some of the bills so that we can still talk about them even if she doesn't join us. So Jamal, please take it away for announcements, and I will get to pulling up these bills.
And here we go. All right, today we're going to do the full announcement. So, hang tight and let's get ready for them all. So we're going to start with the Altadena Community Center serving as the survivor support location. This is at 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena. Their hours are 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. If you have any questions, you can call them at 626-398-6174. And you can also call that number to find out some of the departments that are actually going to be down there. This is mostly going to be SBA, DCBA, treasurer and tax collector and assessor's office. There's again a little question about whether FEMA is still there, but you can always reach out to FEMA if you need assistance there. Oops. See, I knew I put up the wrong slideshow. So I'm going to go back to that one in a little bit. So we have the LA County One-Stop Permit Center, which is at 464 West Woodbury Road, Suite 210. Again, their walk-in hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30. And remember, you can set up a rebuild consultation appointment for yourself or for a small group on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 8:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. or Saturdays, 8 a.m. to noon. You can also set up an appointment to meet with the planner of the Southern California Edison, and those are for Monday and Wednesdays from 8 to noon. But in order to actually schedule the appointment, you do have to go to recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding/1-stop-permit-centers. And again, the fee waivers and refunds. The county is waiving or refunding permit fees for homeowners rebuilding after the Eaton and Palisades fires. If you're a homeowner who's already paid your fees, they can potentially be refunded. And homeowners who have yet to pay their fees, you can potentially have your fees waived. Say potentially because there's a few qualifying situations you do have to meet. So the first is you have to demonstrate that you both owned and lived in your property prior to the 7th of January. And then there are specific projects which are eligible for that refund or waiver. The First one is obviously a replacement of a single family home destroyed by either of the fires. And this does include accessory structures such as garages, ADUs, pools, etc. It also includes standalone ADUs, which are going to be used for temporary occupancy during rebuilding. What's not eligible, though, is commercial properties, rental properties, multifamily or temporary housing projects, in addition, those properties that were not damaged by fires. Now, if you do qualify and you do have an eligible property, the way that you actually get your waiver or refund is by filling out a form, and you can get to that by scanning the QR code, which will probably be the easiest, or go to recovery.lacounty.gov/fee-waivers-and-refunds. Now, this is an online form, or rather it can be filled out online. And once you do so, you can save it and then attach it and submit it via email to recovery@planning.lacounty.gov, or you can print up a copy and walk it into the office. It could either be the Recovery Center or the One Stop Permit Center. The nice thing is one form covers all departments, so that's all you need. Cal Assist Mortgage Fund is still going on, and that's a very good thing. It's providing 3 months of mortgage payments up to a maximum of $20,000. The fees or funds do not ever have to be repaid, and it is free to apply. As I always say, if you do receive the grant, just be aware that you do not get the money at all. The grant money is paid directly to your mortgage servicer. Now, to be eligible, your primary residence must have been destroyed or considered uninhabitable due to either the Eaton or Palisades fire or any other qualified disaster between the dates of January 1st of 2023 through the 8th of January 2025. You also must have owned and occupied a home, and it could have up to 4 units on the property. And you also have to meet the income limits of $140,700 combined. If you do apply, please be prepared to provide your mortgage statement, your utility bills, your proof of income, your FEMA claim or homeowner's insurance, or bank statements, and bank statements. Now, to actually apply, you would go to calassistmortgagefund.org. And if you need help, you can get help on the phone by calling 800-501-0019, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And if you need in-person help, you can get that by either going to the One Stop Rebuilding Center in LA at 1828 Sawtelle Boulevard in LA, or again, going to the Altadena Community Center located at 730 East Altadena Drive in Altadena. Now, they're open from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, and this is provided by Neighborhood Housing Services. Do want to provide a reminder that every Monday and Tuesday, Project Passion, in collaboration with Harambe, is providing the Harambe Freedom Store. It's the Freedom Shop for Eaton Fire survivors, and it is available by appointment only. It's every Monday and Tuesday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and it's at Harambe, which is located at 1609 Navarro Street in Pasadena. Now, some of the items that you can get, they will vary from toiletries to home essentials and much, much more. And again, you do have to book an appointment in order to participate in this. You can scan the QR code above, or you can go to tinyurl.com/ in all caps, Harambe Freedom Store. Also, the Eaton Health Village, in partnership with the County Department of Mental Health and other services and other community organizations, are providing free medical and mental health care. The services include medical consultations, medical refills, mental health services, and case management. On a monthly basis, there's some dental and vision care as well. Now, this is located at 1280 East Washington Boulevard in Pasadena every Monday and Wednesday from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. They do accept walk-ins for the appointments, or you can actually come in to schedule your appointment. Also, if you want to schedule an appointment by the telephone or have questions, you can reach out to 951-595-7032. Today, at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., There's behind the scenes look at the battle to protect policyholders. Um, what's going to be covered in this particular event is going to be the latest in the $1 billion State Farm rate hike, what Prop 103 really says and how it impacts you, and how to hold regulators accountable for illegal delays and denials. This is an online Zoom meeting that you can, and I apologize, we didn't have what I'll do is I'll make sure we get a short link for this and we'll put it onto our community page, our group. But there is a link at the bottom of this that you can scan. And I believe I actually did put this on there already, but I'll do it again just to make sure that you can get it. Register early. There's only 1,000 seats. That may actually, fill up rather quickly. So definitely take advantage of this. And then we had Jackie Snell on last week, and she was sharing the fact that she actually has the water cooler room, which is a wellness space for social, emotional learning and healing. It used to be at a few different schools in the Pasadena area. Now it's at the Paseo, 300 East Colorado Boulevard, Suite 150. And this is something you definitely want to check out because there's numerous events that are there. On Tuesdays, it's a cooking class. We actually shared a post last night, last night, for you to have signed up because they had a special guest that was actually there. The deadline was last night around 11 o'clock, but there'll be regular events for the cooking class. Wednesdays is comedy class. Thursdays is rotating sessions, with week 1 and 3 being art and wellness, and week 2 and 4 being financial literacy. And this is for the youth after school programs. There is adult programs. She had mentioned First Fridays where you can network and there's a support group, and it is happy hour style. But then the first Wednesdays is trauma and transformation, trauma to transformation. As we've regularly been talking, especially as of late, mental health is really important. So this is another tool or location or service that you can utilize to actually help with your mental health. And then there's the community event, the fourth Saturday of each month. It's free youth shopping, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it is by appointment only. And you do have to register, and you do that by going to jazzyjamfoремpowerment.org or scanning the QR code. Welcome back, B. I'm glad you made it back.
I don't know if it's. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hate Vegas.
Not Vegas, just Vegas Wi-Fi.
Vegas.
Okay. I'll continue with the LA Fire Justice. They're actually continuing their ongoing workshop series today, and it will be covering laying the foundation. Where to start. Week 2 of the month, it'll be the 23rd, which is designing your future home and plans. September 30th will be choosing the right builder, and October 7th, your rebuild game plan. So today, it'll actually start, and each of these events starts with opening remarks at 6:30. Then there'll be guest speakers at 6:45 and Q&A at 7:30. Now, there is a new location. It is going to be at the Altadena Coalition, which is at 409 East Woodbury Road in Altadena. So definitely check that out. If you have questions, you can reach out to 626-684-3315. They do have their regular ongoing events. LA Fire Justice does. So every Thursday morning, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. at their offices, 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100. You as an individual can come chat with the attorneys there and talk about your experience. And then later on that afternoon from 12 to 1 p.m. at Pinocchio's Pizza, if you have a business, you can then have those conversations with the folks, with the attorneys there. And Pinocchio Pizza is at 1449 North Lake Avenue in Pasadena. And then lastly, their regular event that happens is every first Monday of every month is Mental Health Monday. And that takes place from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. again at their offices at 221 East Walnut Street, Suite 100. Heard a pop? Okay.
Senator joined.
Okay. With that, I'll bring everyone back. I'll continue the slides a little bit later. I'll bring her to the stage. Hi, Senator.
Perez.
Okay, so once you're on, this is our cue to jump off. So we're out of here.
But we got to make sure we can hear her, because we can see her. No,
Can't
we
hear
can't
you.
hear
Oh,
her.
you're muted.
No, she's muted now.
It's something on her end, probably your internal speaker.
Do you have the ability to change?
Microphone.
I was going to say, is Jerome or Spencer, are they there with you? Your internal microphone?
Yeah, if you have more than one microphone option, that's probably what it is.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay,
Okay.
now we'll be jumping off.
Yeah, we're out.
No. So, oh, well. Good morning. Usually when we get on in the morning, we introduce ourselves, and then I introduce whoever our guest is, and then they say bye. So they're in the background, like doing everything to keep the show running.
Okay.
So we flipped it this morning and did our announcements first, since I wasn't sure if you were going to be able to make it, since you went to the press conference, or you were going to jump in late. So thank you for jumping in late. We're glad you're here. And for anybody who does not know you, please tell us who you are. Please tell us how long you've been in office, and I'll, whatever you want us to know. And then I really want to jump into some of your bills. I have your bill track on up, and Jamal and Brian, I put it in our private chat. In a minute, when we get to that point, bring it up. Yeah, I knew you probably had it up, and we can just kind of go through some of the important work that you're doing for us in the state, but specifically our area and for Altadena and Pasadena in regards to post the Eaton fire.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
So,
do you want me to jump in and just?
Yeah, please do. Just tell people who you are, whoever may not know.
Okay. Well, I'm Senator Sasha Renee Perez. I'm the senator for the 25th Senate District, and that covers all of Altadena, Pasadena. I go out on the west to Glendale, and on the east, I go all the way out to Rancho Cucamonga and down south to Monterey Park. And that covers over 1 million people. I was elected last year in November and really started my time in office up in Sacramento on January 6th.
Well, thank you. And you're originally, if I'm not mistaken, from, is it Rosemead or El Monte?
No, from Alhambra. So
Alhambra. That's right. Alhambra.
Before. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I had to jump back in. So you got inducted the day before the fires. So your job has been pretty much a living hell for the past 8 months.
Yeah, it's definitely been very, very busy. We had a quite a start, just because the fires happened on our second day. So it's been pretty much nonstop, and then everything with the federal government keeps us very busy as well.
That's all I wanted to point.
You jump back off again. So yeah, thank you for that, and I appreciate Brian jumping in to say that, because January 6th, as you know, you were up there being sworn in, right? Which was great. A freshman on the Senate floor. And then the next night, the fires started. And by the 8th, pretty much all of our town was gone, or 95% of it. And so you've had to not only deal with everything, like, you know how they say you jump in and get your feet wet? You didn't have a chance to really do all the normal stuff first, because you had this absolute disaster happen. And because you represent us, you were feet in the fire literally first. So thank you for all the work that you've done on top of being a freshman senator, trying to do all that stuff, right? Because that's a lot. I know that I have an aunt, I'm her power of attorney. She's like 92, but she was the first African-American woman to serve in Sacramento, Diane Watson, many years ago.
Oh, that's
amazing.
amazing.
So, yeah, I managed her whole life. And so I remember being 13 and passing out flyers on Crenshaw, right? Because we were her campaign people, right? And just seeing her be a senator here in the state and a congresswoman and an ambassador, I'm used to dealing with a lot of political people because of her, but she didn't have to jump in. like you did, right? Or anyone in the freshman class that had anything to do with fires here or in Palisades. So really appreciate that and all the work that you're doing. And I know that I saw you and met you in person at the Juneteenth event that My Tribe Rise put on, but you're all over the place. And I know Catherine Barger's all over the place. Whenever I see her, I'm like, hey, Supervisor. She's like, Toni, didn't I tell you just call me Catherine? And I'm like, okay, but still, right? So you're always out there, and your team no sleep for real, because you all are working consistently. So thank you for jumping in today, even, later than what we normally start. But we flipped it and started doing the announcements first and said, if you were able to come on, fine. If not, we would just do the show and, do whatever. So just talking about some of the really, really important bills. If you can bring that page up, Jamal, I'm on it on my computer as well. And then I've clicked and I have about 15 windows open of all of these bills that you have from AB 493 on. And just talk to us a little bit about, Jamal, are you able to click on that? Thank you. About some of the bills that I know the session just ended. Was it Thursday or Friday last week?
It ended on Saturday. So we actually extended session. So until Saturday, we left Saturday afternoon, which is kind of unusual, but yeah, it was a busy year.
And some of the bills clearly have passed, right? Others say that they're in committee. Others say crossed over. And I was like, well, what the heck is crossed over? So I just Googled it, but I will let you explain exactly what that means, because I know it's been voted on like 3 times. It's crossed over when you're back in session. The other chamber will vote or whatever. But I guess we can kind of start at the top. And I think I started and opened AB 493. And I think this is very important because of what's happening with the mortgage lenders and with State Farm and others. But this bill, the AI summary says, this bill addresses how financial institutions handle hazard insurance proceeds for residential properties, 1 to 4 family homes in California. So we can go more into it, but tell us a little bit about the work that you've been doing on this. And it's signed, enacted, and adopted on August 29th. So just recently, but tell us what it is and in your words, and why it was so important that you all got this bill on the floor and passed.
Yeah, so this was actually a piece of legislation I worked on with Assemblymember John Harabadian, and the Assemblymember also covers Altadena as well. So we partner up on a lot of the work that we've done on recovery efforts. This bill in particular was actually inspired from feedback that we received from a resident, a constituent from Altadena who had seen similar legislation passed in another state. And what it's essentially going to allow to happen is all of the interest that accrues on your insurance, your hazard insurance proceeds, you're going to get to keep that, whereas before the insurer would keep that. And this was kind of like a little known fact. So this allows for that 2% to actually go back to the homeowner. And it's kind of a very straightforward concept. It's your money, you should get to keep it. And like I mentioned before, other states have done this. So we're really excited to bring it forward. And I know that that's, headed over to the governor's desk. I'm actually not sure if he did sign it, but I do know that the governor has expressed a lot of support for the idea and has expressed that he, really likes the idea, given that it's been done in other states as well.
Yeah, that's really good. So basically what has happened is, this is my own personal interpretation, but I would assume that basically what has happened is that people, when they have a total loss or something, right, and insurance proceeds because of a disaster or whatever, they have their hazard insurance. And if you own your home outright, generally you're getting paid out, right? But what I've seen is a lot of people that have a mortgage, they send a check, but then that check has to go to the mortgage and it sits there until you start your build. And then they give it in, I believe, thirds or whatever, right? When your builder and all of this, they do all their paperwork. They're like, okay, here's a third to start, to grade the land, to break ground, all of this. And then when that portion's done, then they give another third and then the final third. So while that money is sitting, it is collecting that 2% interest.
Yes.
And once all those 3/3 and your house is rebuilt, certificate of occupancy, you get your keys and you move back in, there's interest that's still sitting there. And the mortgage company or insurer is keeping that interest. And this bill will now make it that they have to release that and give that interest to the policy owner. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So rather than that money and the interest that's accrued, just, you not getting that back, that actually you'll be able to collect that. So
that's super important. Thank you to you and Assemblyman Harbedian. That's super important. And that makes a difference because a lot of people are saying, oh, well, I may not have this extra that I need to do A, B, and C, right? But if that money is accruing interest as it's sitting, that might just be that extra that somebody needs because it's, accruing interest, depending on, what it is. But that's super great. So thank you for explaining that bill and working on that. So this one is another one I saw, AB 736, which talks about the bill proposes the Affordable Housing Bond of 2026, which would authorize issuance of a $10 billion in-state general obligation bonds to fund various affordable housing programs. Now, this is not necessarily only because of the fires, but we know California already has a shortage in affordable housing. And so as people build back or may have to move and not build back, many were renters. Mm-hmm. This bill would ensure, it sounds like, that more affordable houses are built, and then maybe people can afford to purchase those houses or rent those houses. Is that a correct assumption of the summary of this bill?
Yeah, and it's really to provide some of that necessary to get that affordable housing built. The state's done a number of bonds in the past. We've had bonds that are focused on schools. We've had bonds that are focused on climate initiatives. And some of those very bonds that we passed are actually being utilized to help with the rebuild of Altadena. We've seen climate bond money be able to be used for the rebuild. The schools throughout Altadena that were impacted are being rebuilt with school bond money, a bond that was passed actually just last year. So it has a huge impact. But we know that the housing crisis is one that's affecting everybody in the state of California. We've seen rent prices skyrocket. And frankly, it's become harder and harder for people to own a home. And so I think the legislature has really stated that we want to make huge investments here. Now, unfortunately, this bill was, when it says crossed over, that means this bill began in the Assembly and it moved to the Senate. And so now it has been parked in the Senate. And I think part of the reason why you haven't seen this legislation move forward and ultimately be signed is when we sign like a bond then has to go to the voters for a vote. And I think we're in a time period where we're just very sensitive to putting additional bonds on the ballot, given the number of that were voted on in this last election cycle, which is why I see that this bill has been parked. Because there probably wasn't a desire to then have it be on next year's ballot in 2026.
Okay. Yeah. So that one may come up then, and then we'll go from there. Let me see. I'm going to click through a bunch of the actual tabs that I opened while we were waiting to see if you would come on. I think, no, that's crossed over as well. But this one is very important. This is AB 1240. And that bill it aims to restrict large corporate entities from purchasing and leasing single-family residential properties in California. We know that it has done the same thing. It's crossed over, but we also know how all these huge corporations are going everywhere, just plucking up properties that are for sale. And even more so, it's a concern after the fires, both in Altadena, Palisades, Hollywood Hills, wherever they were, to prevent them hopefully from getting houses that may still be standing and not have a lot of damage or were remediated, but the people are just like, I can't anymore in this area. It's a fire higher risk. My insurance is going to go higher. And so large corporations look for times like this to go in after and swoop up with their money and do it. And so can you talk a little bit about this bill? Because I think it's extremely important that people are aware of what this is about, and that it's crossed over, but that it may be brought back next year and voted on.
Yeah, so this is another initiative that I worked on with Assemblymember Alex Lee, and he actually has brought this forward before. So before my time here, even in the Senate, and I've been really happy to partner with him on this. And it would essentially limit a corporation from being able to own more than 1,000 single-family homes. And part of the reason, why this is so significant is because we've seen huge corporations come in and buy up thousands of homes at a time to then use for rental properties. And what that does is it takes a number of single family homes off of the housing market, and it ultimately drives up housing prices. And so we've seen this particularly in Altadena, as well as we've seen many corporations come in and try to purchase either lots where there is no home lots currently sitting because the lot has been cleared, or homes that were significantly damaged due to smoke and ash. And so part of what I've been working with the Assembly member on is including language into this bill that says there's going to be an even lower limit, particularly for fire damaged areas. Now, while we were working on that amendment, the Senate Judiciary Committee said that they would not be hearing the bill and that it needed more amendments. And so the bill was what we called 2-yeared. And so that means that they park the bill in the committee and they say that there's several issues that they want the author to work on in order to work on the bill for next year. I will tell you, though, this is, even though it's the second time the bill is being brought forward, this is the furthest that the bill has gone. So last year, the bill was not successful coming off of the assembly floor. This time we were successful because we earned support from Republicans who actually helped us to move the bill off the floor. I think everybody, regardless of party, has realized that this is a huge issue.
Huge. Yeah, it really is. And I think unless we are being bipartisan and doing it together, because I'm not going to agree with everything a Democrat does. I'm a Democrat, right? Have been my whole life since I was 18. I'm about to be 60. I have some very conservative parts of me that's like, no, but we've got to get beyond this rhetoric and this hate and, oh, this party hates this party, and really listen to the constituents about what they need and then work together. Because I think personally, there's a lot of people that are more middle road than I'm super, super, super liberal, only want this, or super extremely, conservative, only want this. There is middle ground, I believe, that we can meet at. And so if this bill goes back, it's gotten this far. If it goes back, if they're saying authors work on a little bit more so that it's palatable to everyone, then let's do the best that we can and get this done. And I think that that's equally as important. Now, I do have one I want to discuss, and I want you to tell me what the difference is, because we've all heard of Prop 50 coming up, right, that we need to vote on. But California ACA 8, which I think is the measure, because it's been signed, enacted, and adopted as of August 21st. I think that is the measure in the Assembly and the Senate or whatever that leads to us being able to get Prop 50 on the books so that we can vote in November. Is that correct? Like, this bill happened first so we can say, okay, yes, let's move forward.
Yes, that's exactly right. So this is the bill that created the ballot proposition that we're all going to be voting on come this November.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we all know how important that is, because I've heard people say, oh, California's trying to retaliate. No, we're actually not. If it's every 10 years we do this redistricting, or we look at it, right? And the committee or the commission was created to do that. But then all of a sudden, because we want to steal seats and keep a person in office and keep our party in power, we decide mid-decade to redistrict. I think it's very wise that states like ours, which is a big blue state, say, okay, y'all want to play, we can do that as well. And overwhelmingly, the support is with Prop 50. And I see all these commercials that are sponsored by who? The Cokes and all these different people saying, no on Prop 50, and has this mayor saying, oh, that's not the way we do it in California. Don't vote on. And I'm like, yes, on 50. But, but like, that's the kind of stuff, right, that we need to understand and know and say, okay, this bill is here. And these are our senators or our assembly people, because if you see for the sponsors, you see who they were. And that's when you get in touch with them. You call them, you write them, you go on their, website and say, hey, I'm in support of this. We really need you to push this when you're up there in the legislation session on the floor. So this is the actual bill, ACA 8, California ACA 8, that got Prop 50 on the ballot. So one of the things I do want to do, Brian or Jamal, the link that I put in our private chat, please put that on the public one if you already have not, so that anybody can see what that link is and go to Senator Sasha Renee Perez's website that shows these are the bills. This is the bill track that she either has co-sponsored, is a sponsor on, is, in there with, because she represents us, and you want to know what you as a constituent, how you're being represented, right? And what our senator is working on. The next one would be this one, which is, I think, equally as important, SB 293. Yes, please tell us about that. I know Jamal will click over to it in a moment, but tell us about that. And also I want to hear, we know they passed, some have been signed, enacted, but what is it like on the floor, and how hard is it to get some of these things passed? Is it like crazy town?
The last week of session, which that was my first time experiencing it. There's nothing like it in local government. I come from local government. It is an experience. It can be really hard to get things passed. It just depends on what the bill is. It depends on the kind of support that exists around it. If there's resistance, then it is going to be challenging. There will be a fight. And in addition to that, unfortunately, there's a lot of kind of political maneuvering that happens behind the scenes. Sometimes people will hold your bills hostage. You have to get them out of the hostage situation. It is a very fascinating experience to be a part of. And it definitely was very intense. I will say that. There was one night that we were up until almost 3:30 in the morning, and we were on the floor, God, I want to say probably for a good 20 hours. It was pretty insane. Yeah.
But there was no kidnapping or hostage holding on our floor like what happened in Texas.
Yes, no, not like that. Just with bills, not with any people.
Like being locked in chamber, literally. Like they would not let her go home just unless you sign this paper that we're going to monitor you with our state police 24/7. Literally, they held her hostage. That was the most insane thing ever. So I'm glad to hear that we're more civil and are not quite at that place in California, and hope we never get there. But on SB 293, it modifies California property tax laws related to generational property transfers and offers special provisions for properties affected by specific wildfires in 2025, which obviously would be Eaton, Palisades, whatever happened over in Hollywood Hills. They were part of, that, or Malibu, wherever, and any others that either have or may happen in California, because we know we're still in the midst of fire season. We've been extremely dry this year. And so if any others happen, they would fall under this as well. But can you tell us a little bit more about this? Because we know that people were able to file their property and calamity forms down here with the assessors. But what does this SB 293 do that then I would assume all assessors have to follow this?
Yeah, so SB 293 allows for generational property homeowners to be able to bring their documents up to date. So what we discovered in many cases, and this was particularly an issue in Altadena, that's not to say that it didn't happen in the Palisades. I just think it was more common in Altadena. We had so many generational families in this town that when the fire hit, nobody anticipated anything like this happening on January 7th. And frankly, many people were just unprepared. And so the transfer of title that many folks, typically the process that they go through just had not been done. And so transferring title from, say, the parents to, their children, or from grandparents to grandchildren, those documents had not been completed and done. And what then happens is many of the resources that folks have access to, such as, whether it's FEMA assistance, any sort of assistance that's coming in through, the Red Cross, they're going to ask you for some of those documents. In addition to that, as you're applying through the assessor's office to waive some of those property taxes and fees, they're going to ask you for some of those documents. And if they are out of date, you could be liable for up to 8 years of back property taxes.
Yeah.
And, we discovered this and then did research into it. And this was disproportionately going to be impacting Black homeowners.
That's
and
right.
So we knew that it was very urgent to come in with this legislation to allow for folks to update those forms, to transfer title without penalty, and to waive any sort of fees that they would have been liable for. So this basically allows for a hold harmless provision for any generational family that has not updated those documents, so they can do so and get access to all of the resources that they are so rightly owned.
Thank you. It's so important because I had, like, my parents' stuff has always been like, oh, we have our will and all of this, right? And they bought their house in 1968. We moved in it when I was 2.5. And so they've been in it 57 years. About 5 years ago, I was talking to my dad. I was like, you need to make sure it's in a trust. I know you guys have had a will a long time, but this house, this land needs to go into a trust because you have 3 grown or adult children, 9 grandchildren, 5 great-grand. Like, you need to, and, for succession, right? And I'm thankful that, my dad was like, okay, and worked with my mom, and they've done that. But I have found out since the fire, like, a lot of people that I know or grew up with or whatever, who their great-grandmothers or great-great-grandparents purchased the house in the early 1900s, and it's gone down to, their mom or their grandma, then their mom, and then them, and they're living in it, but it's still in great-grandparents' name, and nobody ever did it. Now, my parents, we took care of it, right? And I also understand that it was disproportionately on the west side. And so we grew up on the east side, a little bit different over there. Not that we're different or better, just different. And on the west side is a more of a concentration of African Americans, of Japanese, of Latinos that had to move up in Altadena because of the redlining. And so the fact is, if you are not educated and did not know it should have been in a trust, and you had a succession plan from one generation to the other, and then this fire happens, that could literally make your generational wealth evaporate as quickly as the fire. Because if you can't get those documents again, then guess what? You can't even rebuild on that land because technically it doesn't own to you. I mean, you don't own it, and you have no rights to say, well, I lost my house and everything in it. I can't get all the FEMA, the Red Cross, and all of that, but I don't even have the deed in my name. And so now here's land. I can't sell it if someone wanted to, but hopefully they don't. But I can't even build back on it and do the calamity for the property taxes until I rebuild. And then when I rebuild, if so, because that deed is not in my name, well, you couldn't anyway. But if they could, like, they would get today's market value and today's property taxes, which might be $20,000 instead of what it was from grandma or mom or whatever. So
exactly right.
This is huge that this bill actually passed. And if I'm not, I mean, it just passed last week on the 12th. Today's only the 16th. So that was Friday, right before you guys extended session. And that is humongous because we've been hearing about it. And now that it's passed, we're waiting on the governor to sign it. But this will be such a blessing to so many in Altadena, and that generational and everywhere, Palisades and everywhere else, if they're affected. But that generational wealth that could have evaporated January 7th or 8th, now they can say, we still have this, right? And not only for me, but my grandkids or whatever, because now we'll be able to go back and say, and maybe it's because I show my birth certificate that connects me to my mother and her birth certificate that connects her to her mother, however they will allow as well. And I don't know if that was a provision of the bill, because I'm sure if it were me, I would have to document some way that the person that had it was in my lineage, right? And then now it can be put in my name, and I'm not responsible for 8 years of back property taxes and any other fees that potentially would be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really, really happy that this passed, right? It sits on the governor's desk now, awaiting his signature, but I also feel very confident about him signing it. This is actually an issue that has happened in several places that have major disasters. So we heard about these stories after Hurricane Katrina happened, and it is disproportionately Black and Brown families who are impacted by this, because you consider your home to be your wealth. It's our greatest asset in many cases. And we pass that down from family member to family member, and especially in many cases, grandparents or great grandparents are still alive. You're not thinking about transferring title, you're not thinking about updating the deed, and then an event like this occurs, and all of a sudden that's having a financial impact on these families. So I was really happy to bring this forward, and we're going to keep pushing on the governor to sign it as soon as possible. He has 30 days.
Okay.
So we'll be eagerly awaiting his updates.
Good. There's tons others. I don't want to go through all the ones that I did, because I'm seeing a few are crossover or in session or in committee or whatever. But I really want to thank you for coming on and explaining to us. I implore people that are watching to go to that link, Google Senator Sasha Perez bills, right? And they will find this link also to billtrack50.com, so that they can see what you're involved in. And as a freshman senator, again, who literally jumped into the fire the day after being sworn into office, you have been tremendous on what you've been doing for us, and not only for Altadena, but your entire district. Because what I've seen, I think, is from Altadenians, they get a little possessive and feel like, well, you're my senator, or you're my, like with Supervisor Barger, right? And we get it. But I tell people a lot, hey, we're not the only ones in their district. Yes, we had this disaster, but we could have a whole nother disaster. I live right now in San Dimas. You're for me as well, right? And so is John Harabidi, and I remember voting for him and you. And so my thing is, like, if my city needed something, I would be coming to you as well, right? Though I am a lifelong Altadenian and hope to be back there, in the next few years myself, and maybe get a lot or whatever and rebuild on. But people are like, they need to be doing this for us. So the fact that you all are stretched thin, the fact that now I will tell you this, because if you go back and any of your staff watch this, or anybody, they will hear this at the beginning. We always tell who's going to come on the show the day before or whatever, right? So I told everybody, I said, as you all know, I was supposed to have the senator on this morning. I said, I don't know whether she will be on or not, because I got an email yesterday afternoon saying there was a conflict with her schedule, because now Altadena Collab is having a press conference, I guess, to announce that they're going to be long-term recovery, yada, yada, yada. I said, but I just want you all to know. They asked, could we push it back? I said, no, we start at 10. She may come on or she may not, but this was reconfirmed August 26th. And if she does, that'll be great. We'll flip it. We'll do, the announcements first. So I thank you that even though you are stretched all over the place and you were pulled to go to that press conference because you've been all over, that you still got into a room and came on, because I think that the people in our district need to hear from you. I focus kind of on some Altadena stuff because we're AltadenaTalks. We're all lifelong Altadenians. We've been there, like I said, since I was 2. Jamal's been there. Brian's been there since I think he was 8 or 9. And so for us, this podcast is a labor of love to our hometown, our community. And we're going to be at it for the next year or 2 or whatever. And you may come back on. But because I'm sure I'll invite you for updates at a later time. And I'll have to deal with Jerome and Spencer, and just, know. And I told them, like, I get your schedule needs to be flexible, because I've been dealing with them since June to get you on the show. And I was leaving in July, and they were like, well, what about August? And I was like, no. And then they were like, she's in session. And I was like, okay. So we, scheduled today. So even though you were pulled to something else, you still came on, and you probably have a bunch of other stuff to do the rest of the day, even though you're at a session, but you still are working. So like I said, Team No Sleep, I don't even know if you get 6 hours of sleep a night, but we appreciate you. I'm thankful for what you're doing, because you're always working, right? And you're always working for the community. So Marcus Bet says, thanks for the updates. Oh, and I said, because this is me, I said, she may or may not come on. I said, but I don't chase people. I said, so either she will make it on or we will reschedule something, because I've offered it and it's not on. And this is about the community. So thank you for making sure you put in the time today to get on here. But Marcus says, thanks for the updates and explanations on the bills. He does have a question for you, Senator. How did you hear about the podcast? Oh, and do you tune into the show? So Marcus, go ahead. You say it, and then I'll tell what I think I could have also been. But how did you hear about our podcast?
Yeah, I heard about it from you, like when we first met over at the My Tribe Rise event, and I was so excited when you had shared it with me. So, people are really surprised to hear this, but I actually do not even get to watch like television most of the time when I'm like in session, and so it's like I'm disconnected from a lot of the other things that are happening in the world that aren't like the news and reading the newspaper. So I'm actually back home because we're out of session. So I'm really excited to be able to do things like actually listen into your podcast, like connect with community, because for me, this work is not just about like policy. It's not just about, these kind of political pieces that we have to move and get together in order to do the real rebuild process. I grew up hiking in Eaton Canyon. I grew up, coming here through Altadena. So my cousin lives here in Altadena. He lives on the west side. I feel like, for me, what's most enjoyable about this work is making those really personal connections. And so I'm so excited to be back, because I just want to see people and connect with people. And that's really important to me. Today's actually my birthday, and
Happy birthday to you. Jamal and Brian, spin something up real quick before we're done that we can do happy birthday. They make songs,
happy birthday.
Memes, all of that. So they'll do that before we get off. But that's so exciting. And we met at the Juneteenth, and I invited you. And just so that you know, today is episode 175. We have been doing this since January 16th. We received a grant from Fire Aid to do this for the next couple of years, because for us, it's the same thing. It's about our community. It's about the people. I do want to invite you. I'll send this. I'll just tell you here, but I'll send this to Jerome and Spencer. And how long are you home before session starts again?
So I'm here from this time period until January. So I don't have to go back until January. Excellent. So I'm going to just do all this stuff. So I'm really excited.
Excellent. So November and October, we're having some events. And these are events for the community that will be fun. If you want to come and hang out at anything cool, I'm not going to put a mic in your face. There may be people there that want to do pictures. That's fine. But these are for the community, because we know how important it is to get community back together right now as we start to see all these wonderful houses popping up and rebuilding. But one is on October 25th. I don't expect you to remember, because I will send the flyer and everything to your office. You all are invited. We're having a big barbecue cookout at Lower Loma Alta Park. And it is going to be a cook-off where people will taste and have judges on who has the best barbecue. But it's going to be a big event. I did a walkthrough, me and Jamal, yesterday with the park staff, and we are doing that one. The other one is November 22nd. That is a Saturday. Both are Saturdays. But that one, we are feeding the community. We aim to feed 1,000 people. It is the Saturday prior to Thanksgiving, and us as AltadenaTalks, not just our podcast, but our foundation, we are calling it, we present a day of thanks. And we have so much to be thankful for, even though so many lost everything. There are those that didn't lose everything. There are those that have the remediation happening and moving back. And we have so many lives. We know we lost several, but we have a lot to be thankful for. So we are throwing this event and would love for you and your staff to pop in, get some food if you want. We're feeding it. We have sponsors that we're lining up. And then everyone as a family, when they leave, will also leave with a gift card that will go towards their Thanksgiving meal the next Thursday, however they celebrate. So that is our love gift to the community, both of these, events that we're going to do. So we will keep you informed, and since you will be home, if you all want to stop through, then please do. It will be great to have you just, around the people, and so that you can see again what's happening in the community. Yay. Thank you guys.
Well, thank you.
Birthday, especially now that it's your birthday. I kind of feel bad because I was like, I'm not chasing her if she comes on. But you even made the time on your birthday. So we really, really appreciate that. We're very happy that you came. Now I'm going to leave it open for you. I don't know if there's any other questions, guys, that you can pop up. But if there's anything other than what I specifically kind of went through, and like I said, I don't want to go through all the bills because that would take us forever, but that you want the community to know and to hear from you that you're working on, or that you will be involved in even while you're home before you go back in January. Like, I give it to you, the floor to you. Tell us, and let's hear from you on that.
Yeah, I would say other things that I'd want to highlight is and some investments that we recently secured. So part of what we do up in the legislature, beyond just the legislation, is also securing some of that state funding for targeted investments throughout our communities. Now, we've been facing a bit of a budget crisis, and so been a very long and lengthy negotiation process, but I've really tried to make it clear to my colleagues that Altadena needs some extra help. And so we've secured funding to help with the rebuilding of Altadena's water systems. We know that Altadena's water systems were very heavily damaged as a result of the Eaton fires. We've also secured funding for mosquito abatement and treatment. This is a big issue, particularly for homes that had pools. We know that that sitting water can be a ripe environment for mosquitoes to come in and to begin breeding. So we've secured some funding to assist homeowners that don't have the resources to treat their pools, to make sure that we're not having a mosquito infestation here in Altadena. And in addition to that, we've secured money for over the next year to continue to support the Altadena Library. Altadena Library is supported through property taxes. And we know that as a result of the fires, they're not going to be having that revenue coming in. They're actually experiencing $1 million loss. And so we're going to be backfilling that. In addition to that, there is an announcement we're going to be making on Saturday about some targeted investments that we're going to be doing. I've been working really hard on this with leadership to make sure that we're assisting folks with getting housed, particularly low-income folks, particularly our seniors, and we'll be making big announcement in partnership with the Department of Angels this weekend. So I'm really excited about that, and was really excited, despite facing budget challenges, that we were able to secure some of this funding. So I want to highlight that piece. And I would just say to, if folks have legislative ideas, to please reach out to our office, as people are experiencing things in real time. We do everything beyond just the legislation, beyond just the funding allocations. When folks are having issues with their insurance companies, we will actually assist them with contacting the Department of Insurance and actually fighting for them and for our constituents as they're facing these challenges. And so we have multiple cases that we're working on. every single day that my staff is partnering to work on. And we want to make sure that our constituents are being taken care of. And I have told folks, and I've done this before, if things get that severe and the case is one that is just highly problematic, I will make a phone call myself to let them know that they need to move the ball. We have secured an investigation into State Farm, and I think these insurance companies have realized that, we are here to advocate for our constituents at the end of the day. And if that means holding these companies accountable, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So
that's super important, because we've heard the nightmares, right, of everyone. We see Joy Chin, I think it is, that's heading up a piece that, you've had these press conferences about State Farm. And it's so shameful that they've got $100 billion or whatever sitting in their coffers, and they've complained that they spent $7 billion. But it's like, okay, if I had a home for 40 years and I've never had a claim, and I'm with you, State Farm, and now my house burns down to the ground and it's rubble and ash, and not to a fault of my own, right? Because of dryness, arcing power line, the perfect storm. And then you refuse to pay me out. You refuse to give me my ALE, or you want to give it to me a little bit here, a little bit there, and I can't get a decent place to live. I know people that are like, I have to move every 3 weeks into a new Airbnb or whatever because State Farm wants to nickel and dime me. And I can't get what I need to rebuild because State Farm wants to penny pinch, yet State Farm got a 17% rate increase and they're asking for more. And I'm like, State Farm should not be ever, after this, ever be able to write a policy in California. They want to say, oh, we're going to leave California. No, California needs to kick them out. And that's how I feel about it. And other people, I have USAA, my parents, because I'm a veteran, my dad's a veteran, and USAA has been phenomenal with my parents and my sister, who both lost their places. And my sister was across from the fire and saw it start in Eaton.
Oh my goodness.
In her townhouse complex. So, but they have both been, USAA has been phenomenal, has walked them through the process, has said, this is A, B, C, D, E on your policy. And your state says we must do A, B, C, D, and E. And so here, and on the very next day after the fire, I believe my mom said that USAA called her and said, are you guys okay? Is our first concern. And are you in a place where you're safe?
Wow.
Right.
That's excellent.
Because we want, and then we just put X amount of money in your account, transferred money in their account the next day and said, that's for your essential needs. Go find something, that you want to be able to live in for, a duration, whether 6 months, a year, 2 years, whatever. And all they have to show is this is what the monthly rent is. And USAA is like, okay, here you go. Right. And so they've been incredible. But for me to hear stories of friends and other, community members that I've known for decades, hear about what they're going through and see them crying and hear, State Farm counseled us in October or November or December. And it's like, that's within that 90 days. They're supposed to give you your policy back. Just all this shenanigans that people are going through, not only with them, but other insurance companies. It's really shameful. And so the fact that you and other senators and assembly members that care about their constituents are saying this is not right. And I hope this is on both sides of the party lines, right? Because everybody lost houses, whether they're Democrats, Republicans, Independents, Green Party, or whatever. So if our elected officials are really advocating for everyone, that's what we need. And I'm super glad to hear you say that. I have a question about Saturday. Is it open to the public? Would maybe Jerome can tell me where it is? Because Brian and I go to events on the weekends. If you can't tell, you can tell us, that's fine. We go to events, we film, we take pictures, and then an announcement like this is great. And then on Mondays, we do the recap show and we say, this is where we were on Saturday. This is the event we went to, and this is what happened. So now that you've gotten me very intrigued about Saturday in this announcement, I want to be there, or me or Brian or something.
Yeah, so I don't have the details right now. I will have Jerome send that over to you, but it is going to be a press conference. I know we'll be in Altadena, but I would absolutely love to have you there. I think that would be so excellent. And, Toni, I just want to go back to something you said, because you just hit the nail on the head. on the insurance issue and I just think you summarized it just so perfectly in that single sentence. For 40 years, in some cases, you have customers that have been paying for their insurance that have had no claims, and now they've had this disaster happen and they need help. And for companies like State Farm and these other insurance companies to be giving these folks the runaround is absolutely absurd, because these are good paying customers that have been doing their due diligence for the last 40 years. I mean, I've had folks ask me, like, if this is how they're going to treat me, then why did I even start paying them to begin with? Like, I should have just been putting money aside in the bank.
Exactly.
I mean, it's totally ridiculous. And and that's what I've just continued to point out to folks is, this is not, cases where it's somebody that's just, been for a single year. This is, in many cases, in the folks I've worked with, we're talking 25 plus years that they've been customers. So, and that is what really, really angers me, because when I talk with folks and they tell me these stories, I see my parents, I see my grandparents reflected in them. And if a fire was to happen to any one of my family members, we would be in the same situation.
Yeah. And did your cousin lose his house, you said, in Altadena?
So he lives on the west side, but actually his home was okay. So he was fine. Yeah.
Yeah, some on the west side lost, some didn't. Almost all of the east side is gone where I grew up. I grew up around the corner from Farnsworth Park. So my park is basically gone. You've probably been up on Loma Alta Marengo, where Loma Alta Elementary School was. That's where I went to elementary school. I went to Audubon for primary. I went to Loma Alta Park preschool at 3 years old, which they haven't had the preschool there in decades. But Elliott, we all went to. And so like our whole town, right? Like our gas station, our just everything. It's so mind-boggling. I was there yesterday. I got to go back today. But it's just mind-boggling. I do want to highlight again some of these. Marcus said, happy birthday, Senator Perez. And then when you were talking about the investment money and the infrastructure, he said, yes, it's so crucial to the rebuild and longevity of Altadena. Thank you for keeping Altadena and your entire district at the forefront. So I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted some of the, comments that have come in. Now we are over since January. I think we're over 800,000 views. We typically have, I know we were up to 50, 60 something thousand a month, but we are live literally at 10 a.m. every day on YouTube, on Instagram, and on Facebook. And we're on several Facebook pages, the Altadena Talks, the beautiful Altadena, a bunch. And so people obviously at 10 a.m. are working. We work, but we all are in tech and kind of work remote from home. So we're able to do this, but the views come afterwards. People watch it in the evenings, on the weekends. We get calls all the time. I do, and the guys do, from somebody saying, oh my God, you guys covered this in the show. Thank you so much. That we had no clue would be watching, right? To the point where when Fire Aid gave us that money, it was because of somebody that I talked to when I was helping to redo the park at Loma Alta Park in April. And they put us in for it. And we were shocked. And then we were just shocked again last week because we made Ebony Magazine's Power 100 as a nominee. And then on Tuesday, we're an honoree. So we have this gala we're going to at the Beverly Hilton November 4th. And so things just keep happening. But that really tells us we're in the place that God needs us to be right now in this season, to make sure that we bring the proper people on so that the community gets accurate information, because that's been a big thing for me, Brian and Jamal, is that we vet everyone, that we vet flyers and see who's really connected, because people will mask things and say they're for Altadena, but they've got ulterior motives. And so we want to make sure that once the cameras are gone, not just a press conference here or there, but the main after the disaster, that people can still get the correct information from us on this podcast, no matter what time they need to see it. They can go on YouTube, pull up Altadena Talks, see every episode, search for builders, search for you, search for the county assessor that I had on in June, search for, what Colonel Sonny Avachal said during the time of the cleaning of the lots and everything. And so that's extremely important to us, that our community has this and this continues to live on for the duration of our recovery, because it's so very important. So thank you again for being with us today, Senator, making the time. I hope, and I know you probably have other things to do, but I hope you are celebrated well today. Somebody takes you to lunch or dinner or something to celebrate your birthday because you've been nonstop. You finished session on Saturday and you went right back to work probably on
Yeah.
Brian and Jamal,
Thank you.
Hop back in and talk to her for a quick second before we end.
Just want to say happy birthday. Oops. I want to say happy birthday. Thank you for taking time to come on the show. Just echoing what Toni said. I am curious, what's your opinion of your freshman year on the Senate? Especially given what you know, on day 2, what happened?
I mean, it has been crazy. I think every moment of it has been just unexpected, right? And not just the fires, but everything that's happened with the federal administration, right? I mean, the ICE raids, there's just been so much that I've not anticipated. And as I moved through the year from month to month, it just felt like discovering a whole new challenge that I never would have imagined. I mean, we touched a little bit on the redistricting piece. If you would have told me a year ago that I was going to be, voting on something related to redistricting congressional districts, right, I would have asked you or told you, no, that can't happen. And why would we even do something like that? I mean, it has been just expect the unexpected, I think, is like what I would use to describe this year. So
I would imagine so. And that ICE raids, that's a whole nother just pocket of your time I know you're dedicating to. And, they just were shown on the news yesterday. They're doing a lot of stuff with the car washes and another whole bunch of raids. And it's a sad thing. So I appreciate your efforts and everything that you're doing to try to, affect everything, because I know there's so many moving parts. So thank you again. I look forward to having you come back on again.
Brian?
Yeah, you guys talked about everything that I wanted to talk about. So I'm good.
You said you're good. We've talked about everything.
No, I'm saying you talked about everything that I was concerned about. So.
Well, yes. Thank you. Thanks, Brian and Jamal, for doing what you do in the background to make this show continue to roll as I interviewed her. Who's with you, Spencer or Jerome?
Right now with me?
Anybody in the room?
Actually, Amber. Yeah, I have Amber on my team who's here, and then Darla who's outside. So,
hey, Amber and Darla. I think I met Darla.
Yes, and then Darla is she's actually outside because she's she's like meeting with some folks right now. So and Spencer's at the office.
Yeah, I want to tell them thank you as well because they make things happen, right? They're the ones that make it happen. I met Darla at Lomalta Park, her and Spencer one day, and then I've been talking to Jerome. So whoever was there, I wanted to say hey to them and tell them thank you because they make your world happen when you're in the political realm, and we appreciate them as well. So thank you. All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do all this on my team. So
yeah, have a great day. I'll get that information about Saturday from Jerome or Amber. Tell him to email me with it because I will show up. Brian most likely will show up as well, but definitely want to be there. And I look forward to working with you as closely as we can. If there's anything you want us to put on the show, have Jerome send it. And we will make that as an announcement. And anytime you want to come back on, they can reach out and we'll do that as well.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. I will make sure to have him send that over to you, and excited to have you guys there. Also, one last thing, Toni, did you say that you're 60? That is insane. Oh my God, you look amazing.
Like in a month.
You said at the beginning of the podcast, I was like, what? Did she just 60? That is absolutely insane.
So I'll be 60 at the end of October. Brian will be 59 is it February?
January,
and Jamal will be 56, 57?
57.
Wow. Yeah, we're all like 60s, 70s babies.
We're all 2 years apart and all went to the same high school.
Wow, that's amazing.
We could be your aunts, your uncles, your mama, your dad, whatever, our age.
I'm everybody's uncle.
Right.
Toni, I thought you were like 15 years younger than that. So
I said a lot in my 40s, but no. And look, I'm proud of the fact that I'm 59, going to be 60 next month. So, but because when we say we've been in Altadena since the 60s or early 70s, people are like, y'all are lying. I'm like, no, I've been there since 68. And Brian will say, I've been there since 72 or whatever.
We've seen it all.
Because we have to tell people for them to even believe that we have long history in Altadena. And we can tell you, like, before the Everest and before, what was it? A Pioneer Chicken for a minute. It was a gas station, the 76. And, where all the different things were when we were little and did the old fashioned day parade. And, like I said, the preschool that I don't know if they even had the preschool by 75, but that's where I went to preschool at Little Mountain Park at 3 years old. And before the pool was there and, all this kind of stuff. So yeah, people are like, but thank you. Yeah, we really are this age.
Yeah, I remember when Farrell's Burger was Louisiana Fried Chicken.
Yes. And White Castle before that.
It was.
It was a White Castle.
Not about that part.
That it was White Castle? Oh, yeah.
I didn't even know there was a White Castle in Altadena. So.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Probably the only one in California.
It didn't last long.
Yeah, it didn't last long.
Nobody wanted to eat Spam burgers.
That's for the East Coast and Midwest.
But yeah, if you want any other history, I know you're dealing with a lot of Altadenians and some are younger than us. But if you want some of the longer history, and then like Brian's mother-in-law is she's 98. She's one that's been there long time and is rebuilding.
Yeah, I could barely get her out the house when it was about to burn down. I've been here for 60 years. I'm not moving. You're going to move if I have to carry you out of here. You're moving.
We can sit with you at any time and give you info. Like I always tell my people, the Altadena Community Gardens, my dad founded that with his friend Fred Shatlow in 1973. And so we were there way back when they got the land, once the county got it from the old military academy, right? Sold it to the county. And my dad worked for the county for 32 years. So he was able to say, we want to do this as a community garden, and started it in 73. And so, we've got lots of history that we'll tell anybody if they want to know it. So if you ever need to know anything from way back, have Jerome or them ping us and we'll be happy to give you some other insight.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Definitely. Well, all right. Well, we're going to let you go because we know we're right at an hour, and we know literally you came on at 10:26. And
happy birthday again.
And happy birthday. That's right. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Yeah, I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. Thank you. Have a great day.
Take care.
Okay. That was a good one. I love having people on that are able to, like, it's mind-boggling that as I called out the bills, even though you put them up, because she's been working on it all year, she's just like, yeah, this is that, this is that. And that's what we need, right? People that are on it like that can do that for our community.
Well, you would hope that if you helped co-author a bill, you would be on point to know what it was about too. Hello? I know she didn't do it on all of them, but
she knows
most of them. Yeah, she should.
Yeah, she's really been there in the trenches, and I'm thankful for that. So, but that's why I had to tell her, in case you or your staff go back and look, I was talking in the beginning. I was like, I don't chase people. She may or may not be.
I was giving it to y'all. Right. Giving it to you. You said no.
I did say no, though. I told them if I showed you the email, it wasn't no, and it was no with a period. Then it was our show starts at 10 a.m. Right?
Yeah.
So,
I think she got it. I'm sure she understood. So I'm sure a lot of her schedule she isn't even aware of or remembered until they tell her. So
yeah,
somebody tried to slide somebody in front of us. That's what happened.
Yeah,
very happy she came on because that was very informative. I liked her insight, and the fact that she covers such a wide territory. I didn't even realize that as well.
I really like her demeanor as well. Mm-hmm. I really, really like her demeanor. I couldn't be in the state legislature, right? Because if I did, I'm gonna be one of those that's going at it with somebody. I don't have the demeanor for state legislator. But she's just like so calm and I love that. But she's on it.
I bet she's pretty attentive and aggressive behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Trying to get some stuff done, especially
Oh,
authoring so many different bills.
She's the youngest senator sitting in
It sure
California, right?
Mm-hmm.
It sure is. This was good. So tomorrow, way back Wednesday, do we know what we're going back in time on? Because last week was the weigh-ins when I was up north. Have we had a topic yet?
No, that's what it said. That's why it said it, because somehow it was on the. But we didn't really. We kind of winged it.
Okay, so if
I thought it was the peanut thing.
that was 2 weeks.
That was 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
But we talked the day before, last Tuesday, we talked about doing Sesame Street.
We did do it.
I would love to do the Oompa Loompas, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and Pippi Longstocking. We've dabbled and said it, but those
we might as well bring in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang if you're really going to go back that far.
That is, yeah, Pippi Longstocking, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, HR Puffin Stuff, and the Oompa Loompas.
Lidsville.
So I met Sid and Marty Croft, who actually came up with that, and they look like two dudes. They look like two dudes that was taking LSD when they made the show.
No, that's what they did. Was talking about. We didn't realize that until we were adults, but you know that was that flute and all of that token tooting.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the story that they were on?
Well, the mayor was bloodshot eyes.
Exactly. So it really wasn't for kids. We thought it was a kids show.
Oh, it wasn't.
No.
Freddie.
I was at their DVD.
You guys want to do that?
I was at their DVD release back in 98 with Vernon, because he was doing paparazzi, so he had me come along, and I swear they were high then. But I got to meet little Billy that played Witchy Pooh.
Oh yeah, Billy Marty.
Yeah.
No, he didn't play Witchy Pooh. He didn't play Witchy Pooh.
Don't talk about it now. Let's do it tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, let's hold it for tomorrow. But this will be a super dope show tomorrow, because that's
so Sid and Marty Croft, and then some of the other.
They made everything. Land of the Lost.
Disney, because Pippi Longstocking and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang were they Disney movies?
No,
I don't think Pippi was. Maybe Chitty Chitty Bang Bang was.
Hold on, I'm gonna find out right now. Who made?
Well, we'll start with Sid and Marty Croft, and maybe we'll move on.
So Astrid Lindgren made Pippi Longstocking, Swedish.
Yeah, that's some Swedish.
Okay, and then who made? Which other one did we say? Chitty
Bang Bang. Yeah.
Chitty Bang Bang. Okay, here we're gonna talk about that. It was Albert R. Broccoli. The book was by Ian Fleming.
You know who that is, right?
Who?
But it wasn't.
Broccoli?
Albert Broccoli does all the James Bonds.
That's what I just said. The creator of James Bond. So we will talk about Chitty Chitty, Pippi, Sid and Marty, all that tomorrow. That's gonna be a dope way back Wednesday.
And
then on Thursday we have USC School of Social Work doctoral candidate Isabella Carabed, Karabed, who's coming on with me. And she's going to talk about this app and some other thing that she's done, but what they're doing and how they can offer their services to Altadenians, the USC School of Social Work, and would love to become available to talk to if anybody needs to talk to them. But that's our upcoming next two shows this week.
Sid and Marty Croft had a lot of shows.
A lot.
All of them were drug influenced.
Oh, they were.
They're gonna say toodaloo.
You don't. I still got half the damn slides to finish.
Oh, they finished half the damn slides. Sorry.
Half the damn slides. They damn slides.
Right.
Damn slides.
Like 100 or something. But yeah.
Half the damn slides.
No, I'm just playing. All right, so we're gonna do part two.
Get on with the other half of the damn slides.
I'm gonna do part two. I'm not even gonna do the music again. So we're just going to jump in right now. So there's the free concerts in the park as we continue every Wednesday. So the next one is tomorrow. It's a solo stroll through the blues with Preston Smith and classical notes. To register, visit PasadenaVillage.org or call 626-765-6037 or even scan the QR code. I'm pretty sure that's what it's there for. And then tomorrow,
We out here.
Yeah, brought to you by Juicy Little Finds Thrift Store. It's that market that's there every Wednesday from 12 to 3 at Fair Oaks Burger, the world famous Fair Oaks Burger at 2560 North Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. Make sure you bring your proof of residency because you will not be able to participate without it because she's
very organized. I mean, you will never go to a better farmer's market than this.
That's right. So some of the free items.
Getting some stuff.
That's right.
To make sure everybody walks away with something.
So she first and foremost wants to make sure you bring your own bag, but some of the things you might be able to take part in, or some of the free items being provided, are free farmers market, vegan hot meals, groceries, hygiene products, thrift store pop-up, legal advice, love and prayers, and much, much more. There will also be resources available for the rebuild. So definitely check that out every single Wednesday, 12 to 3 at Fair Oaks Burger. We out here. And then this is the next part of the community food distribution provided by Hollywood Food Coalition. It is at the Altadena Library. Supplies are limited, first come, first serve. So tomorrow it is going to be where you want to go from 11 to 12 at the main library at 600 East Mariposa. So definitely check it out, and please bring your own extra bags. I guess they'll have one for you if you need more. Definitely bring your own. And as you can see there from the slide, there's going to be 3 events in October, the 1st, the 15th, the 29th, 2 in November, the 12th and the 26th, and 1 in December, which is the 10th thus far. So definitely check this out. And then also, let's see, tomorrow, Thursday, September 18th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. At Loma Alta Park is the annual park community meeting where you get to come out and meet the park staff, learn about upcoming events, programs, and activities for the year. And they want to hear from you about park priorities and how they can partner with you. There's also going to be child activities and snacks available. So definitely scan the QR code to get more information and probably register. And you can also go to parks.lacounty.gov/annual-community-meeting for more information. Rebuild Thursdays is happening at Fair Oaks Burger, 2560 Fair Oaks Avenue in Altadena. It's put on by Rebuild Altadena in conjunction, obviously, with Fair Oaks Burger. It's from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. every Thursday. This is where you can learn how to save the most possible, all while supporting local businesses as Altadena is rebuilt. Altadena Chamber of Commerce and Civic Association is now accepting applications for their second round of the Altadena Business Recovery Grant Program. It is for Altadena businesses and nonprofits only. The grants are available from $500 to $1,500. And for more information, you can scan the QR code or go to altadenachamber.org. And the deadline for the applications is the 26th of September. So Heal Altadena is providing a benefit concert for the victims of the Eaton Fire. It's going to be at Crescenta Valley United Methodist Church, 2700 Montrose Avenue in Montrose. It is going to be the 19th. The performers are Mayea and Orohi Ensemble. It'll be 7 p.m. and they're requesting a $25 or suggesting a $25 donation. I'm going to highlight this particular one because one of the performers of Mayea is my aunt, Angela. She is the one with the orange shirt, like in the middle at the top. She is a percussionist and will be there doing her performance. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be at that particular one. But this will be nice. They're raising, it'll be a benefit concert for Altadena. Then again, Here We Lay a Home. That exhibition is continuing through the 28th of September at the Armory Center for the Arts at 145 North Raymond Avenue in Pasadena. The gallery hours are Friday from 2 to 6 and Saturdays and Sundays from 1 to 5, and also Thursdays only on for appointment only. Definitely check this out. This is the young adults perspective and art form of their reaction to the Eaton fire. So definitely check it out. It's very creative and worth the view. So the folks at Neighborhood Services, in addition with Restore the Legacy LA, are providing the rebuild and recovery workshops. The next one will be October 4th at First Church of Nazarene. It's a Saturday from 11 to 5 p.m. It's at 3700 East Sierra Madre Boulevard in Pasadena. The next one in Pasadena will be December 13th at Pasadena Presbyterian Church, also from 11 to 5. This is located at 585 East Colorado Boulevard in Pasadena. There will also be an event on the 1st of November, which is also Saturday, from 10 to 1:30 at the Center of Hope. This is located at 9550 Crenshaw Boulevard in Inglewood. Some of the items that will be discussed will be interim housing support, low-cost construction project management, technical support to select a general contractor or architect, mission-driven real estate services related to buying, selling, or rebuilding your home, as well as estate planning legal services at no charge. To register, you want to go to nhslacounty.org and go to their events section. Chris Holden's 26th annual Community Resource Fair and Block Party is back on. It is the 27th of September from 2 to 6. The 500 block of East Jackson Street in Pasadena, again between El Molino and Los Robles. You get to shop local and support impacted vendors, and it is hosted by LA Fire Justice. We, as we indicated before, will be there as well, so definitely check this out. It's a great event. Couple more slides. Action Altadena as Rebuild Fair Take 2. This is going to be September 28th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. located at Victory Park, which is 2575 Paloma Street in Pasadena. Join them, bring your family, be a part of a supportive Altadena community as we rebuild together. They look forward to seeing you. If you're interested in being a vendor, you can definitely click on or go to the page there. actionaltadena.com/event-save-date-altadena-rebuild-fair. Now, repeat that. That's the. Brian, here's the thing you were talking about. The Altadena Chamber of Commerce and Mariposa Junction are seeking Altadena small businesses, artists, and makers who sell goods, wares, and experiences for the Altadena small business market. Local youth groups are encouraged to apply. So what they're looking again for is actual vendors. So if you scan the QR code, you can actually fill out the form to actually become a vendor. The application deadline is the 30th of September. And this event is going to take place on November 29th from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Mariposa Street between Lake and El Molino in Altadena. So again, if you want to be a vendor, scan the QR code, and the deadline to be a vendor is for the application is September 30th. That's it. That's it for the rest of the damn slides.
Damn slides. Them damn slides.
Sorry for my potty mouth, everyone.
Well, damn is not really a bad word. They use it in movies all the time in titles. Village of the Dam. It started back in the 70s.
There you have it.
That was a great show. Really great.
Independence.
Really good show. Really good show.
Yeah, Mr. No Neck.
I do your nasal and your mouth and your body all like that.
Really good show, folks. We're going to go over here and then we're going to go over there.
So big thanks to Derek James because yesterday, Jamal, after we left the park and solidifying, the events, Derek called, left me a message, based on the show yesterday. So I'm going to connect him with IO. They're not flying back from up north till tonight because they were at the summit last week, but they had some other meetings. But I talked to them yesterday and they were like, yeah, we definitely want to meet with him. So Derek, if you're still on, definitely that's going to happen. But this lady who I've kind of adopted her and her kiddos that now goes to my church, she literally has been wanting a mentor, praying for a mentor and all this. And Derek is going to help us with the event on the 22nd and potentially the one on the 25th, as far as the 22nd, what all we need to buy. Because, you know, he's worked at SoFi, he's worked at Marriott, he's been in hospitality as a chef for many, many, many years. And he knows that if we go up to 1,000 people, how many of the turkey breasts we need, how many of the brisket we need. And he said, yeah, it would be much better to do it that way than, you know, whole turkeys and a bunch of stuff. And so he said, we have a meeting tomorrow afternoon, a Zoom call with me, him, and the young lady who's going to be doing the bulk of the catering. And so he has agreed to assist us. So super thankful. And when you are connected for a purpose, God lines everything up to make sure that that purpose happens. And so things that are going well with the parks and recs, things that are going well with the young lady who has been out here a year from Atlanta and has wanted to get her catering business out here restarted. And now we're going to utilize her for this event. And the mentor she's been wanting, Derek is going to meet with her and help her with that. And so everything is lining up like effortlessly. That's how I always know it's really for what the purpose is.
I remember when Derek and Larry Quisenberry were going to culinary school back in the day.
Yeah, and he was saying that he watches us, and he was so thankful that the event that they had at the park, the Q's had, that we were on, that we announced it and everything, because a lot of people found out about it from here. So I'm thankful for all of those that went, but also all of those that watch, because we just never know how far our reach is. And the fact that this is from our heart to our community, and more people are learning about it and wanting to be involved with us is amazing. And so I'm super thankful.
Oh,
well, make sure you prep the generator, because we're going to need it for these next few events.
Yeah, we
might. But you'll have it on deck because we talked about it yesterday.
No, definitely going to need it for the cookout. Definitely going to need it for the Mariposa Junction. Because I was just reading on here that they will not be providing electricity for anything.
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
So who's coming to pick it up? Because it's in the garage.
Jamal, you got the truck.
Oh,
yeah, I can do that.
Yeah,
I'll either bring the truck or Kira's, because right now my truck got rocks in the back.
Well, whenever you guys need it, I mean, it's here. It's in my garage, so it's not a big deal. But prepping, I don't know how much.
We need it to the end of October.
Yeah.
Well, you know, we got to start it and run it for about 2 or 3 minutes to make sure.
Yeah, but it's all good.
You know, every time I used to prep my mini bike when I would go down to JPL, I have to make sure that oil was in it and all kinds of stuff. You can't just wash and go.
Right.
Because we don't know how much oil we burned at the Ashes to Anthems in it. So that's one of the things we really need to focus on.
Well, that was going for a long time, and it still had, I think, plenty of gas in it.
No, I'm talking about the oil.
Oh, the oil.
You know, burn oil.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Well, I'll make sure. Yeah. I mean, everything is together. So the gas can, I'll make sure it says that means you have to get to work, Jamal. Or
don't worry about the gas can, because I got a big, I got the big.
Yeah, fill that up. I'll make sure the oil's ready, all that. I don't know much.
Thing is, we ran that thing for how long? 4 or 5 hours? 6 hours?
It was a long time.
And it didn't run out of gas. It did well with the gas. Because remember, I wasn't sure. I was just like, I got this brand new generator in my garage. It was in the box then, remember? And you guys had to open it, start it, put everything in, and it worked fine.
We had to put it together.
Yeah.
That's what you didn't see.
That's what I mean.
Put the wheels on the handle. But this was a learning experience, and with 2 people it was better, because we did need 2 people. We had to hold up something.
Yeah, because it was heavy. It's heavy.
Yeah, it was heavy.
Yeah, so, all right, well, and I have, a big dolly, so I got that. I have the big dolly.
You don't even need a dolly. You just, it got handles, so we can just lift it off the whatever and put it on.
I saw that, Marcus. Yes, I need to get to work.
Marcus,
always something.
You in to work on it. So, anyway, I'm going
to Marcus, you part of the team now. Get over here and help Jamal out with that.
Jim
and Brandon. Right now.
Brandon's already
Brandon.
ready to work.
We didn't do We didn't do the. They're not doing the food bank on Brandon Street anymore.
Oh, that's on Friday. I'll put it up probably tomorrow.
Brandon.
Some of those again, if I just keep them up, that slide presentation.
100 slides long.
No.
Yeah.
Well, we already got about 420 slides since we started doing slides.
Oh yeah. So it's 26 slides today. But if I go all the way to the bottom from when we started,
Like
467 slides.
Well, that just says that people know that we will get the information out to the community. Some of them we find because we're on pages or they send us. And then others, people are like, hey, like Jackie will text me and say, hey, for Jazzy Jam, can you do this? And I'll put it in our WhatsApp and Jamal will add it to the slide. So if there's anything that the community has going on that you want us to get out to the community, please let us know. And you can always email us at info@AltadenaTalks.org.
No.
.com.
No, AltadenaTalks.com.
Oh, AltadenaTalks.com. We got so many different I
know. Well, Altadena Talks is its own. Altadena Talks Foundation is its own.
And that's where the different ones are, right? So, info@AltadenaTalks.com. And we'll get it and be able to put your information on here. You guys, we got about 10 emails, all of us.
Based on those
somebody
slides,
come on board. Somebody just come on the show and talk about, your situation.
Or event.
Not say we don't want Marcus on because we love having Marcus, but
he banned.
He has no hesitation to come on, and he's
know.
We want to have more people, a wider variety of people to come on. Alicia, I know the house was cool and all that good stuff, but tell us about your business, how things are coming along with that. You and Shell, if you're interested. I mean, we're offering. If you have subjects that you want us to talk about, not just on the business side, but hey, on those way back Wednesdays, on them Freaky Fridays or whatever, if we don't have a show on Thursday and we talk about something throwback, anything. It's a collaborative effort. We're here for you. You know what I mean?
Based on that number you just gave me, that equals out to 14 events a week that we announce.
Easy.
Wow.
And he's clowning Marcus, y'all, because that's his cousin. And they get down like that back and forth. But and you guys know it's already 90 degrees at 11:51.
Yeah. We're getting humidity too.
Let's not talk about degrees.
Oh, you're in Vegas. That's right. It's hell hot up there. So,
it was 104 yesterday.
Degrees, is it, bro?
Yeah. That was
it is already 90 degrees.
That's a whole story right there. Oh my God, I love that.
It was 83 at 10 o'clock. It's 90 degrees already, y'all. It was 77.
It's funny. It's 90. Oh, it's 90 degrees here right now. But it says it's going to get up to 99.
Oh, and we'll be 96 today. So y'all stay cool, drink your water, be healthy, all of that. And I'm going to say toodles. Y'all have a wonderful...
You going to push the button, B? Push the button.
No, I'll let you do it. Every time I put something over here, it explodes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your system goes down. I'll pitch it.
Vegas janky Wi-Fi. Horseshoe, don't get Wi-Fi horseshoe. They don't even have a upgraded one you can go to. They say, now you get this.
Right.
Have a great day, y'all.